my story or our story is slightly different to I think some of the others that traditionally get told at some of the celebration events and perhaps you're going to hear tonight. I'll explain why, but when Neve and I agreed what we were going to talk about at our celebration event a couple of weeks ago, we chose to talk about us rather than what had happened at the school. And that really is the point of what I'm going to say today, and that it'll be slightly different to maybe some of the other things you're going to hear. So our story, our journey was a little different as well. I was asked by one of my colleagues whether I'd be interested in doing PFP, and I had a chat with my wife, and in about 10 minutes I said yes. I guess I'm probably a typical middle-aged white South African, very involved with things like welfare at university, and have done nothing since, and gone off to corporate and earned money and done all sorts of other things, and keep having a discussion about, shall we get involved, shall we do something, and end up doing very little. So when the opportunity was offered to me, I said, yes, for sure, love to do it. And about a week later, the same colleague emailed me and said something had changed in his life. He'd started the program. Could I take his place because he had just started? And could I meet his headmaster the next morning? So I said yes, and I jumped in the car, and we went off to Pretoria, and I met Neve. So Neve's school is a prefab school. It's an old post office right in the heart of Pretoria. He's zoned along with Pretoria Boys High, which means that in terms of the way the department does things, he's supposed to get what Pretoria Boys High gets, but of course he doesn't. He had about 350 learners last year, and this year they just sort of bumped him up by 80. So, it really is a bit of hit and miss what he's got and what teachers he's got. We went through the process of PFP. And I've got to say, when I arrived there, I guess I was like a lot of the business leaders. One half of me was quite nervous about living up to the promises, and the other half was quite, this is easy. If I can run an organization, I can make a difference to a little school like this. And it wasn't so easy. It was exactly as Dave said. Savantika kept saying to us, slow down, don't worry, just show up. I don't know how many times she said to me, just Neve, hearing your voice will be enough. And I hope it's been true. We have a plan. We've actioned very little of what's on the plan, but I have committed to the second year, and Neve tells me I've committed to a third year. But most importantly, what happened then, and in a very short period of time, because I sort of got parachuted in, I think within about 2 weeks, we were off to start the training programs. And that really was the start of something very, very special for Neve and myself. And really what our journey has been about us. This is not about, of course it's going to be about what happens at the school, what's done at the school, and some of the support and things that I hope I've been able to support him on. But it really has been about our relationship. I truly believe that we've become genuine friends. I think we respect each other equally, and as much as I can give Neve support and advice, he's also given me support and advice on my children. We've got similar age kids, and I go home and tell my wife, the headmaster says. and I think that mutual respect, mutual bonding, and it came quite early on. I'm quite grateful for this. I think we were really honest with each other, and we've had some awesome conversations, and I guess it's based around the fact that both of us want to make this country better for our children. And as I said, we've got kids similar age. And as we discussed more, we learned a lot about each other. And I think, Louise, your point earlier about business partners learning about life sort of on the other side, maybe wasn't such a big thing for me because my job takes me into some of the poorer areas. But boy, did I learn about life as a headmaster and a black man growing up in a black family. And it was hugely important to me, and I'm really, really grateful for it. And I'm grateful for the friendship that we formed. So when Neve says year 2 and year 3, it's an easy decision for me. And as I say, it's a little bit less about the school, a little bit more about him. And in our in our discussions, and I think this is what's important as well, it's stretched way beyond the school. We've discussed the economy at length. We've discussed politics at length. We've discussed what we want for our children at length, what our kids are going to do after school, how to parent them. And we've formed an incredible relationship. And if any of you are ever talking to business partners and people that are thinking about it, this is not just about what you can do for the school. It absolutely is about growing as individuals and forming bonds across the divide. And one of the conversations, and Mahmoud and Alan are in my circle, and Snooky, is at our last meeting, we spoke about the fact that if more South Africans got together in a room and 10, 12, or 14 of us had the sort of conversations we have in our circles, this country would be way better off. And for me, even our relationship is a microcosm of that. And I just wanted to talk about that tonight. Thank you.